Meanwhile, in the glamorous New Orleans Superdome, another passer of some note was testing the defenses of newly installed head saint Hank Stram. Stram's new quarterback, Bobby Scott, found the Minnesota defense as tough as ever. Some New Orleans errors were forced, others were not. Viking coach Bud Grant said later, "It was like stealing. I'd like this kind of game every week." Fran Tarkenton took advantage of every mistake, and Chuck Foreman did his part too. Chuck Foreman and Brent McClanahan each scored twice, but it was Fran Tarkenton's 292nd career touchdown pass which caused the most uproar on the way to a 40-9 Viking romp. When the Los Angeles Rams met the Minnesota Vikings last week, it was, as coaches like to put it, the time for a good old-fashioned gut check. 2 weeks ago, on opening day, both teams had known the thrill of quick and easy victory. But there was none of that here. It was like tumbling around inside a giant clothes dryer, said Viking linebacker Wally Hilgenberg, number 58. Just as Hilgenberg and his aging teammates were beginning to weaken, the Vikings' offense suddenly came to life, and rookie Sammy White pulled in a pass from Fran Tarkenton to give the Vikings a lead in the fourth quarter. But the Rams sent the game into overtime when they scored after this catch by Harold Jackson on the 1/2-yard line. The overtime period, however, was dominated by defense. Neither team could score, and the game ended in a 10-10 tie.
Before the half. No scores yet. Late to Ferguson, Hayden comes out. Picked off by Matt Blair, the linebacker, lateral back. Blair made the interception. Lateral back to right. Matt Blair, a 6-foot 5-inch linebacker from Iowa State. Watch it again.
Here's the cardinal sin. The young quarterback tries to just float it, and Blair reached up and picked it up. Blair, of course, is 6'3 1/2" from Iowa State, and almost made a very dangerous lateral. Blair almost gave it back.
First and 10 for Tarkenton, and he's going to throw. Rolling right is Spencer. Throwing in the middle. The mystery tight end. About a 9-yard pickup. 2nd and 1. Foreman and McClanahan behind Tarkenton. McClanahan gets the call. Maybe he got a first down, but not much more. On first down, Tarkenton goes deep to the direction of Flash. Flash slips down. Sammy White, and take it back. Flash is on the other side of the field. There he is, number 82. It's going to be an interference call against
Rod Perry.
Rod Perry.
Perry's the young defensive back from Colorado.
Before the half. No scores yet. Tarkenton back again. Looks to the outside. He might take off with it. Way to keep it around, and down he goes. Barry Brooks behind him. 3rd and 11. Ball at the Rams 16. Tarkenton back. Outside in the direction of White. Nothing doing there. And I would imagine we will see the doctor, Fred Cox. Charge for Fred Cox. In the right direction. He got it. 55 yards in 5 plays for the Minnesota Vikings, capped off by a 33-yard field goal by Fred Cox. On their 32-yard line. Tarkenton with a fake to McClanahan, throws in the direction of Stu Voigt. And the ever-present Stu Voigt seems to just pop out of the ground and be open. As was nothing. Foreman comes in motion to the left. McClanahan's got it and got it ahead of steam. He's got first down. He's inside the 30. Down to close to the 30-yard line. Past the 35. Out on the 36-yard line. Tarkenton looks left, hits White. Down to the 25, down to the 24. Another Viking first down. Ball game. Foreman goes in motion. Sammy White at the 38. Elmendorf. To Rashad. Gets out of bounds. Tarkenton just raised up and looked at him. Chuck Knox.
Well, there's a portrait of a coach thinking. Music.
11:24 left in the game. Blitz. For White. He's gone. Rod Perry.
Held down.
Was burned.
This is on. Pat, you were right. The Rams decide to come with everybody, and nobody gets there. Not before he's thrown the ball. You'll see Perry now in the wake, falling down. Sammy White from Grambling runs it on in.
Goes in motion. Tarkenton. Fine catch by White. Sammy White had to come back. Minnesota. Olsen got back. He jumped for a minute. Tarkenton fires. He's got McClanahan. McClanahan's got a run down in front. Out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
On the outside, and lets Clanahan get out there. Here's the ball now. Watch number 33. Now, who gets the block right there on the outside?
It was Ahmad Rashad, I believe. Hayden goes back. Fires down, deep down the middle. Autry Beeman has intercepted it for Minnesota. No time left on the game clock. Beeman struggles outside of the 44, 45-yard line. He goes out of bounds, but the game has officially ended. We'll have sudden death. Block! Nate Allen blocked Dempsey's field goal attempt.
I believe James White sort of helped Nate Allen get started a little bit, and not illegally, but got him high enough to where he made the block.
Allen. Bud Grant stomping away on the sidelines. Sammy White is out. Straight ahead is Chuck Foreman. Look down. They come to the left. To Foreman. First down, Minnesota. Ball out to the 36. We have 6 minutes, 35 seconds left in overtime. There will be just one period. Here comes reverse. And it's Sammy White. And there is Brett Dreyer.
Draw double coverage so they can work to the top of the screen. And
Tarkenton's going to take off. Got the first down and more. Down inside Ram territory.
all right, let's take a look. Pretty good pass rush now. Rams are coming. Hacksaw Reynolds is firing from the linebacking spot. Now Fran decides to run. And watch Elmendorf now zero in on him. And Fran knows it. Look in the rearview mirror there.
That time he had no place to go. He looked, ducked.
It'd be an audible by the young quarterback.
Straight back. Hayden looking. The blitz by Washington. Hayden is down at the 10. I don't believe he's hurt. Still the quarterback. Hand off to McClanahan, and McClanahan has the first down after the 45.
That time, Yerry did a good job on Youngblood. And there was a lot of room for McClanahan to motor inside.
Tarkenton goes back to pass. Down the middle, Two-point wide open again. Breaks one tackle, gets down to the 22-yard line. To overtime. Tarkenton. Outside, Rashad got it. Good catch, good throw. Monty Jackson on the coverage. Tarkenton fakes to McClanahan. They've got it first down. Foreman out of bounds at the 11-yard line. It goes back to the Vikings bench and to Fred Cox unless Tarkenton can score. He fires. Picked off by Rick Kay. Kay was back. Ducks into the middle of the pile. The Vikings, however, are out of timeouts. Not a very popular choice for the Viking fans who, of course, know that they're just trying to run out the clock, and the clock continues to go with 5 seconds, 4 seconds now. 3, 2, and that's the end of it. A 10-10 tie between the Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. For Tom Brookshire, this is Pat Summerall. Now we take you back to...
Before Detroit met Minnesota, Lion coach Rick Forzano predicted, "We're going to have to fight for every inch we get." Unfortunately, the Lions missed a couple of inches in the fourth quarter when they had 4 chances on the Viking one and failed to score. The Vikings made the most of their opportunities. Quarterback Bob Lee handed it off to Chuck Foreman to give Minnesota a 10-3 lead late in the game. With 2 minutes to play, Greg Landry passed to Charlie Sanders for a touchdown. The game might have gone into overtime if the extra point had been successful. It was not, and the Lions were losers by a single point, 10-9. For Detroit, last Sunday was a day to forget.
To the right, top of your screen. Lewis to the left. Bradshaw with pressure. And he has a man on downfield. It's Nate Wright and Lance Swan, and they say Nate Wright. Well, he threw the ball up in the air on that one, Howard. And Harris hits the ball and piled up. Lost all the way back to the 50-yard line. I'll bet you Jim Marshall was underneath that, Frank. Bradshaw keeps both backs in. Flag is down. And down goes Bradshaw. Alan Page, number 88, nails him back at midfield.
Well, you talked about Alan Page and about the fact that he's not as big as a lot of defensive tackles. What he does is he makes up for it with a lot of quickness, a lot of desire. Now, you'll watch.
He's at the bottom. Bradshaw draws another crowd. And down he goes after a gain of 5 at the 45-yard line. It'll be 4th down. It was Jeff Seaman all over Bradshaw. And is number 87, Larry Brown. Flag is down. Bradshaw with a lot of time. It's picked off. It's Nate Allen. But keep in mind the flag is down. Picked off. It's Foreman. Good speed outside. Gets down to the close to the 27-yard line. Another gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. And 2, and here comes Robert Miller. He's in there for McClanahan. He's up there near a 1st down. Hit there by Jack Lambert as the middle of that Steeler defensive line collapsed.
If I were a wide receiver, I'd have griped about that. I lay been under the illusion you were a wide receiver, Gipp.
Inactive. Look at that move by Foreman. And Foreman close to another 1st down, but he just slithered under a tackle.
Strikeouts. 9th straight year of 200 or more strikeouts.
On the 1st down, Bob Lee tries to get it off, and he does. That's Sammy White. Sammy White down to the 8-yard line, short of the 1st down.
Presently relevant.
2nd down and 3. Foreman right side, big hole. Look, ho! They did it. Touchdown, Minnesota, tied up.
Before that last drive, Pittsburgh had gained 90 yards rushing to Minnesota's 34.
One of the Steelers, 7-6. 3 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the first half, and we'll tell you once more how critical this game is. Yard attempt, Roy Girelli. He's 3 of 5 on the year. Block. Let's look at it again. Bobby Walden's the holder. Just good pressure by Minnesota's defense. They got that off in plenty of time. The kick maybe slightly low.
In my book, it was low. He's not getting that immediacy of trajectory in your language.
Bradshaw, flag goes down again. Was batted into the air. I don't believe it. And picked off by Jeff Seaman, but a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Remember that. Toss goes to Foreman, left side. Foreman is having a great night, gets some more yardage. And he moves out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be a 2nd down and 3. Taken out of bounds here by Mel Blunt. 120 yards so far for this man, Chuck Foreman, who had 1,070 yards last year. Line. Bradshaw getting a lot of pressure as he has been all night. Forget it. Terry goes down. Back at the 14-yard line, Alan Page, who's having a whale of a game, was in there initially. Carl Eller made... Wow. Look at that. I don't believe that. Second time tonight. And it's Nate Allen with the ball.
That's why I would have punted. Chuck no longer has faith in his defense. He wanted his offense to try to keep the ball. He got talked out of it by Bradshaw, and now another bad snap. Football.
Sammy White in motion on first down. Foreman gets the call. Foreman to the 5, to the 4-yard line.
One bad snap on a punt, and now add to that a bad snap on the field.
2nd down and goal. Foreman spins in. Touchdown, Minnesota, and a great individual effort. Nobody in football can do that like Chuck Foreman. At the 6, and we have 11 minutes remaining in the game. We'll be back. Okay, back to the action. 3rd down and 8. Bradshaw again in trouble. Drops the ball this time. And Alan Page comes up with a fumble. Alan Page picks up the ball, dropped by Bradshaw. The Vikings will have a first down at the Steelers' 24-yard line. 6 minutes, 23 seconds remaining in the game. And the Vikings lead at 14-6. Well, this early in the season, the best game, single game, of any player in the league. Reverse Foreman. And Foreman almost popped that. Gets down to the 29-yard line where it's going to be 3rd down and 14. 3rd down and 14. Ball at the 29-yard line of the Steelers. And the Vikings send Miller into the line. And they are starting to play it close to the vest. As the time ticks away. 4:40 remaining in the 4th quarter. And out comes Fred Cox, and he could just about ice it. And he did. It's good. 43-yard field goal by Fred Cox, and the Vikings go out over the Steelers 17-6. 4:08 remaining in the game. We'll be back. Bradshaw figuring the same way. Here we go again. Nate Allen. In and out of the hands of Grossman. And Allen returns it to the 38-yard line. The pass hit Grossman in the hands. Went up in the air, and Nate Allen, who's had a whale of a game tonight, picks it off.
Nate Allen will never forget this night. Matt Blatt just lifted him up.
Bradshaw is down. He was coming over to make the stop on Nate Allen, and somebody unloaded on him.
In Minnesota, Chuck Foreman's twisting forays through the Bears' conference-leading defense gave the Vikings a hefty 17-0 halftime lead in the battle for first place with their closest division rivals. But in the second half, it was all Chicago, ignited by number 34, their sensational scatback, Walter Payton. Payton, who is the leading runner in the NFL, scored 2 third-quarter touchdowns, and Roland Harper added another, which should have given the Bears this important game. But despite Peyton's 141 yards rushing and a nearly flawless second-half defense, the Bears missed 2 extra point attempts and were guilty of numerous penalties that wiped out big plays like this 49-yard touchdown run by the guy who reminds so many of Gale Sayers. The result was that Minnesota, in a tough test, retained its lead in the AFC Central by a single point. In Minnesota, for instance, the misadventurous Merry Madcaps from Manhattan, the New York Giants, stayed winless. Steve Craig's block of Dave Jennings' punt was the 8th kick spike this year by the Vikings, and Nate Allen, number 25, who has 4 of those blocks, was rewarded for his previous valor when this one fell right into his hands. Allen's score got the Vikings off to a quick 10-0 lead, and the game was pretty much over. But along the way, Fran Tarkenton, with 21 completions, became the first man in pro football history to complete 3,000 passes. Minnesota's win kept the Vikings in first place in the NFC Central Division, the Giants in last place in the East, and 1 game ahead of the Atlanta Falcons in the draft pick race. The Giants' 24-7 loss made them 0-6. Victory over the Philadelphia Eagles was a perfect demonstration of the multiple talents of the team. Fran Tarkenton used his pitch and putt passing attack to slice up the Eagles. He first got them thinking about flare passes to his running backs, then shifted his attentions to his wide receivers. Number 28, Ahmad Rashad, collected 1 pass from Francis for a touchdown. Then Sammy White, number 85, pulled in another for a 35-yard scoring strike. Defensively, Minnesota was so effective that this pass interception by Bill Bradley was Philadelphia's longest gain of the day, and it set up the Eagles' only touchdown. Chuck Foreman, the NFL's leading scorer, went through Philadelphia like the Metroliner, rushing for 200 yards. Foreman scored twice and led Minnesota to an easy 31-12 win. After the game, Viking coach Bud Grant said that watching Foreman on the football field was like watching a grown man play with children. Said Grant, "I've never seen a more talented player." Well, Baltimore coach Ted Marchibroda has. But in Chicago, the Bears weren't as concerned about stopping the entire Viking attack, but rather sought to eliminate the one man who makes Minnesota's offense work. That one individual is the multi-talented Chuck Foreman, number 44. And with a purpose to their task, Chicago proved that if you can stop Foreman, the Vikings can be beaten. With the legs virtually removed from the Minnesota game plan, the Viking offense became a plodding hulk, fueled by Fran Tarkenton, who, though he managed to break the remaining all-time passing marks of John Unitas, failed to produce the necessary points to beat the Bears. Chicago's brilliance on defense was matched by Minnesota's Purple Gang defenders, who sent Bear quarterback Bob Avellini looking everywhere but the stands to search for an open receiver. Avellini should have saved his strength, for as his 12 yards passing proved, there were few openings through the air. But on the ground, Chicago found gaps good for 2 scores, one by number 34, Walter Payton, as the Bears eased past the Vikings 14-13. The NFC Central, once scoffed at for its lesser teams, suddenly has both the Bears and the Lions from which to draw credibility, as each pursue the Vikings in a race for a possible playoff slot. Northern Minnesota knows only 2 seasons, July and winter. And with running back Chuck Foreman enjoying a remarkable season, this winter promises yet another divisional title for the Vikings. Indeed, Bud Grant's Norsemen seem in rare playoff form, and only an occasional mental lapse reminds opponents that Minnesota can make mistakes. Last week against Detroit, rookie Sammy White did an un-Viking-like thing, neglecting to carry the ball all the way into the end zone. But the Vikings played well enough to allow White a chance to redeem himself. And given another chance, his execution was flawless. Fran Tarkenton and the Vikings shredded Detroit's conference-leading defense for 430 yards, as Francis twice connected with Sammy White for touchdowns. The final one bringing his lifetime touchdown pass total to 299. His next scoring toss will make him the only quarterback in history to reach 300. With a comfortable 3.5 game lead in the NFC Central, there's reason to celebrate in the land of ice. Meanwhile, up in Minnesota, Seahawk quarterback Jim Zorn led a surprisingly strong attack to a 7-7 first quarter tie with the Vikings. Despite the usual superlative performances by Chuck Foreman, number 44, and Fran Tarkenton, Minnesota could not breathe easy all afternoon. This beautiful Tarkenton touchdown pass, the 300th of his career, making him the first to accomplish that feat, gave the Vikings a 14-7 halftime lead. It seemed that Sammy White's catch was just the kind of play designed to break an expansion team's resolution. But the Seahawks held tough, and early in the third quarter, Zorn buzzed an 80-yard beeline to Steve Rabel, number 83, to tie the score at 14. Two Fred Cox field goals lifted the Vikings to a 20-14 lead at the end of the third period. But the fledgling Seahawks remained anxious to try their wings. With gutty determination, Seattle fought back. Executing beautifully and looking like anything but a first-year franchise, the Seahawks drove to the Vikings' 7-yard line early in the last quarter. A Jim Zorn to Sam McCullen pass was good for a 21-20 Seattle lead, and the upset of upsets was in the making. But a cool veteran like Fran Tarkenton is tough to beat. And with less than 5 minutes left in the game, his pass to Stu Voigt ended the Seahawks' dreams of glory 27-21. A close call for the playoff-bound Vikings and a game to most surely be proud of for the Seattle Seahawks. Last Sunday in Milwaukee, the Packers gave the Vikings headaches. As Fran Tarkenton said, their defensive line was just exceptional. Everybody tries to earn their reputation against a good team like ours. The score was tied at 3, with just a half-minute left in the second quarter when Tarkenton and Chuck Foreman pulled off this 25-yarder on 4th and 21. With just 6 seconds left in the half, Tarkenton finally put Minnesota on top with this pass to running mate Robert Miller, number 35. In the second half, the old Statue of Liberty play put Chuck Foreman back in business. Chuck Foreman needs only 58 more yards for another 1,000-yard rushing season. And he has also caught an even 50 passes for another 500-plus yards. Chuck Foreman is one big reason the Vikings clinched their 8th division title in the last 9 years. Another reason was Fran Tarkenton's 303rd career touchdown pass. It went to Ahmad Rashad in the fourth quarter as Minnesota squeezed past Green Bay 17-10.
Trips and lunges forward out to the 33-yard line. Minnesota, their own 34-yard line. Again, Foreman. Foreman gets another first down. That was Bruce Taylor, number 44, missing the tackle at the line of scrimmage, and that's not hard to do against this man. He's not in the lineup, however, because of a pulled muscle in his rib cage. It's 2nd down and 6. Foreman again. And Foreman ridden out of bounds down around the 44-yard line, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down, a long yard. Down, long yard. And Foreman has the first down to the 41-yard line, and the 49ers now giving the Vikings giving the 49ers a workout on the ground. Bruce Max at 1,000 yards for the season. 1st and 10. McClanahan gets 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. In the slot. McClanahan's a setback. 3rd down and 11. And going up, and Ahmad Rashad made a spectacular catch out at the 47-yard line. His 40th reception of the season, and he's having his best year ever. Down 7. Ball just short of midfield. Tarkenton looking for a pass, and he finds Foreman. I think he had the first down and was driven back. At the 42-yard line, Bob Grimm is in. Now for the Vikings, number 26, this is Foreman, and Foreman hustles his way down the inside the 38-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 5. 3rd down, long 5. McClanahan's in motion. Tarkenton wants to go on top. And he takes one out there to Foreman. Foreman has the first down, moving inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Crack 1,000 for the season. And on 3rd and 11, Tarkenton goes on the sprint out. And another fine defensive play, but a flag is down. It might have been too fine on Bruce Rhodes. And our referee's crew tonight. On 1st and 10, Tarkenton. Francis goes down. Back at the 17-yard line, and hustling in there, Jimmy Webb. Out to the left, out to the right, Ahmad Rashad and Sammy White. The setback is Robert Miller. Hanging it up, Sammy White's all alone. Touchdown. And you can hold on to Francis for a while, but don't give him too many opportunities, because he'll get you. 49ers over the Vikings, 10-7, 6:20 remaining in the second. Whittam. This will offer an opportunity for a return. So Willis. And he gets out to the 45, tripped up. And Minnesota will start in good field position as Sam Whittam is upset about something. The Vikings, 45-yard line. They trail the San Francisco 49ers 10-7. This is Chuck Foreman. And Foreman hustles out over midfield, gets 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. He needs 4 more yards, Chuck Foreman, for 1,000 on the year. Here he comes. And flag goes down as Foreman got up close to the 45-yard line. Bruce Elia was there and Dave Washington.
France holding offense, number 35, or 2nd down.
2nd down and 12. Ahmad Rashad. And Rashad is down around the 11-yard line as Fran hangs it up. 2nd down and 7. Parkinson lays it up for Rashad. Touchdown. And it's that easy when the man gets hot. This is Scott Bull, and Paul Krause intercepts, and it was intended for Delvin Williams. That is Paul Krause's 76th interception of his career. He is 3 away from tying the late Emlyn Tunnell's all-time record, a record set that has been thought absolutely unbeatable. And the first turnover of the ball game. Handoff, Chuck Foreman. And Foreman has his 1,000 as he gets 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Bruce Elia. So Chuck Foreman has gone over the 1,000-yard mark for the 2nd time. Remarkable coaching record. Out on the field, his Vikings have a 2nd down and 7. Chuck Foreman, who just went over 1,000 yards, almost broke this one off. He gets down to the 15-yard line. It'll be a yard short of a 1st down and 3rd down. 3rd down and 6. Tarkenton, play action. Over the middle, looking for Bob Grimm, and off his fingertips, hustling back there, Mel Phillips for the 49ers. And the Bears last year. 37-yard field goal, Cox. And it's good. This will put it out of field goal range for the Vikings. Steve Mickemeyer, a 38-yard attempt. Boy, it's long enough, it's straight enough, and it's good enough. Steve Mickemeyer has really helped the 49er cause, and that moves them out to a 4-point lead over Minnesota.
The Green Bay Packers were making life tough for the Vikings as Ollie Smith's catch set up a 6-6 tie. A little impromptu chest massage kept the Packer heart beating until the beginning of the 4th period. In the meantime, the Vikings displayed a routine that was part Marx Brothers, part Keystone Cops, and minimally successful when one considers the energy expended. Late in the game, however, the Purple Gang got back into grinded-out football, a duller but more effective routine. Robert Miller's dash set up the second of Chuck Foreman's short touchdown bursts as the Purple Horde notched victory number 10, 20-9. Miami Dolphin faithful hold firm in their belief for their team, but against the Minnesota Vikings last Sunday, all the belief in the world couldn't produce that little extra needed to produce a win over the NFC Central champions. Beset by injuries, the Dolphins have labored shorthanded all season long, and the lesson of defeat for men once so well schooled in victory has produced a clumsy and sometimes painful fall. The Viking defense shredded any semblance of a Dolphin offense, and Fran Tarkenton did likewise to the Miami defense 3 times, nailing Rookie of the Year candidate Sammy White, number 85, with scoring passes. When Tarkenton went looking for a replacement for John Gilliam, rookie Sammy White appeared on the scene, and the Viking offense has never missed a beat. Minnesota finished the afternoon with 29 points and an 11-3-1 season, while the Dolphins could manage but 7 points to finish a frustrating 6-8 year. The long season was finally over for the Miami Dolphins. The National Football League playoffs are synonymous with Metropolitan Stadium, as each year new opponents and their fans come here to challenge the NFC Central champion Minnesota Vikings. This year it was the Washington Redskins, the NFC's wild card, who entered the Met for first-round postseason play. 1 week earlier, George Allen had seen his Redskins claim an emotional must-win against Dallas. That victory brought them to their meeting with the Vikings, yet most agreed they would need even more inspired play to drop the Norsemen. With a leader like Billy Kilmer, the Redskins can pull off the incredible. And last week, number 17 was good enough for 2 scoring passes, one to Frank Grant, number 46. But even with the inspired play of a Kilmer, Washington was up against a Viking defense whose combined experience exceeds 100 years. Tough veterans who know the value of a hit in silencing emotional upheavals. So Kilmer's completions became sporadic bursts that hurt physically more than they helped strategically, and amounted to mere nickels and dimes in a big dollar battle. All of this, when added to their failure to establish a consistent ground game, cost them the contest, and plenty of bumps and bruises as well. Without an adequate running attack to control the tempo, Washington too often put the ball into the hands of number 10, Fran Tarkenton, who 3 times placed it in the hands of his talented receivers for touchdowns. Tight end Stu Voigt hammered out one Viking score, while the exceptional talents of rookie Sammy White, number 85, produced 2 others, as Minnesota staked Washington's hopes for victory by beating them at their own game of inspirational play. If ever there was a Rookie of the Year, it was Sammy White, the NFC's leader in touchdown catches. On a team lined with stoic veterans, number 85 has injected the excitement and fun of being a rookie, while time after time producing poised and veteran-like plays which have excited the supposedly unexcitable. White's circus act sparked Minnesota to blaze, and soon other Vikings were looking high and low for ways to top the rookie's showing, especially one Chuck Foreman, number 44. Over, around, and through the Redskin defense, Foreman sped with ball in hand for 105 yards, while frequently pulling off maneuvers of which Houdini himself would be proud. Number 44's escape routine terminated Washington's Cinderella season as Minnesota rolled convincingly 35-20. The Vikings have won the NFC Championship 2 out of the last 3 years and head into the coming NFC finale with a team which is undoubtedly stronger than those of previous years. Though this squad appears more solid in every vital area, the real difference may be one of emotion, for it seems that both the old pros and their maturing counterparts have suddenly realized that winning football can be both businesslike and fun at the same time.
For the second time in 3 years, the championship of the National Conference would be decided in a game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. Early in the first quarter, the Rams battered the smaller Vikings with a drive that carried to the Minnesota 1-yard line. A quarterback sneak by Pat Hayden on third down left the Rams 6 inches from the Minnesota goal line.
6 inches!
The fury of the Viking defense persuaded Ram coach Chuck Knox to try for a field goal instead of a touchdown.
Dempsey in to try for the field goal. This is a chip shot. There's a snap a bit high. The ball is down. The kick is blocked. It's going to be a touchdown. The Vikings are going to score. It's Bobby Bryant. At the 50 to 40, the 35 to 30, the 25 to 20 to 15 to 10 to 5. Touchdown on a blocked field goal. Nate Allen blocked it. Bobby Bryant scooped it out and goes the distance. Unbelievable.
Bryant's touchdown served as a hinge on which the game turned. In the second quarter, Fred Cox kicked a field goal. And this 62-yard run by Chuck Foreman set up another touchdown which expanded Minnesota's lead to 17-0.
Come on, Phil! Come on! Outside! Outside!
But the Rams are a veteran team. They have won 4 straight Western Division titles, and they do not give up easily. The Rams' defense forced 2 turnovers, and their offense converted both of them into touchdowns. The inspired Rams trailed by only 4 points, but their high hopes were dashed on the rocks of the Viking defense.
Drops back to pass. He has protection. Throws the long one over the middle. Intended for his play. Intercepted by Bobby Bryant. Bobby Bryant with his second interception of the game. Double wing to the right side, and Francis will throw. Caught by Foreman to the 45. He's to the 50. Breaks away the 45 to 40. 35-30. 25-20. 15 out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Going to hand off to Sammy Johnson. He gets a hole. He's inside the 5. And he's down. Touchdown. Sammy Johnson. Like the Super Bowl bound.
Typical Arctic afternoon in Bloomington, Minnesota. Except that on this particular Sunday, 2 teams will meet to decide the championship of the National Football League's National Conference. Amidst the elements of fire and ice are the hometown Vikings and the Sunshine Boys from Los Angeles. The Rams, who will try to pretend the shivering 14-degree temperatures have no effect on them. But the hard fact is that the Rams have never won a postseason game in a cold weather city, while they have lost 6. At stake for them is the unusual opportunity of becoming virtually the home team in Super Bowl XI in Pasadena's Rose Bowl 2 weeks hence. Vikings will be aiming for an unprecedented 4th Super Bowl visit and their 3rd in the last 4 years. To do it, they bring to this game their usual superb defense and special teams. But the difference in Minnesota this year is an explosive attack to match their other attributes. Up by swiftly clamping down on the Rams' running attack and forcing a pass on 3rd and long. Rookie quarterback Pat Hayden tried to duck the purple pressure, but was wrestled to the ground by number 81, 13-year veteran defensive end Carl Eller, for the first big defensive play in a game that promised to have many. On 3rd down, but came up short. Again, Los Angeles thought they had scored, but the fans in the stands signaled the true outcome of the play. A repeat shows number 58, 13-year linebacker Wally Hilgenberg hitting Hayden at the apex of his dive, and the Rams faced a 4th and goal situation. Here, Coach Chuck Knox opted for 3 points. But the center snap was a bit high, and Nate Allen got in to block the kick, which bounced right into the happy hands of number 20, Bobby Bryant. 90 yards later, Minnesota had the first touchdown of this championship game. This was the 14th block kick for the Vikings this season, and Nate Allen has been the man most of the times. It takes guts to stick your face in front of a kick, the little cornerback said after the game. It takes 10 men to hold a crazy man down, and I'm the crazy man. I got a good start, and the holder was slow putting the ball down. I blocked it with my chest. It bounced right, and Bobby just picked it up in stride. In the second game of the season, when these two teams played to a 10-10 tie, it was a block of a Dempsey field goal by Nate Allen that preserved the tie for Minnesota. The next Sunday, Allen blocked a conversion, and the Vikings beat the Lions 10-9. Thus began the habit of blocked kicks that reached a crescendo today against the Rams. But again, just when they were closing in on a score, Los Angeles coughed up the ball. Early in the second quarter, Jim Marshall gained a measure of revenge by swatting Hayden's 3rd down pass into the end zone. Forced to punt, Rusty Jackson dropped the ball, and Matt Blair came storming through to give the Vikings their second blocked kick of the game. We weren't supposed to block it, Blair said later. We were playing for a return, but I had the feeling I should go in. Luckily, Jackson dropped the ball, and that gave me the extra time. Minnesota got 3 points out of the blocked punt to bring the score to 10-0. But again, the Rams came right back on the ground. But when Hayden went to the air, the results were different. Bobby Bryant made a diving interception to give his team the ball near midfield. And with this impetus, Minnesota put on their first offensive display of the game. Up to now, the Vikings had been held to a single first down and had done absolutely nothing on offense, despite the fact they had a 10-point lead. In fact, when the first half was over, Minnesota, that had been no fault of theirs, got no worse. But in this pursuit, they failed. On the second play of the third quarter, Chuck Foreman broke off a 62-yard run, exactly double the yardage that he had amassed in the entire game when the two teams met earlier in the year. Foreman was tackled on the 1, but 2 plays later, he went in standing up, and the Vikings' lead ballooned to 17-0 just 2 minutes into the second half. A third down, Wally Hilgenberg, number 58, blitzed, was not touched and again put Hayden down hard. A look at Hilgenberg's hit from the end zone reveals that because he was not blocked, Hilgenberg had a full head of steam when he crashed into Hayden's blind side. So for a second time, Minnesota's proud old pros had held, but so did Los Angeles. Hayden this time drove the Rams to the Vikings' 39. And on fourth down, Hayden spotted Jesse behind Nate Wright. Both Jesse and Hayden must have thought they had finally broken through. But from out of nowhere came Bobby Bryant. The interception was the type that free safety Paul Krause usually makes from his center field position. This time, however, Bryant, a cornerback, had left his man and saved the Vikings. Looking at the play from Pat Hayden's point of view reveals how disappointed and surprised he must have been, for Jesse surely does look open and touchdown bound. Bryant had made what to Hayden and the Rams must have seemed like an unbelievable play, and the perfect bookend to go with his 90-yard run in the first half. Bobby Bryant had started the Vikings off on the road to victory, and now had seemingly preserved that win, if the Vikings' sputtering offense could chew up the remaining 2.5 minutes. The Viking offense did better than that. On a 3rd and 4 from their own 30, Tarkenton spotted Chuck Foreman, the fourth receiver he looked for, over the middle, and Foreman did the rest. On the 57-yard play, Foreman injured his back, but he had done his job with 200 yards of total offense, 150 of that in the second half, and catching and carrying the key pass that set up Sammy Johnson's clinching touchdown from the 12-yard line. Johnson's touchdown brought the score to an insurmountable 24-13 with half a minute to go. 59, Matt Blair, and the Vikings were champions of the National Football Conference. For the Rams, it was one more frustrating defeat at the hands of the Vikings. Their 11th loss in 12 tries in Minnesota. A Viking victory that catapulted them into Super Bowl 11 and a chance to end their years of frustration. This will be their 4th time in the Super Bowl, an NFL record. But the Vikings hold one other Super Bowl record. Their 3 losses are also the most by any team. The Vikings have now appeared in 4 conference championship games and won them all. It is an unparalleled achievement, but to the Vikings an achievement that means much more because of the fact that they now have a chance to end the years of almost by winning a Super Bowl.
Throwing passes on almost every play, Tarkenton moved his team 68 yards in 13 plays to their first touchdown of the game. Chuck Foreman and Ahmad Rashad, number 28, made key receptions in the drive. Sammy White made his first catch of the day, and it was good for a touchdown.
Touchdown, Sammy White, and the Vikes are on the board with 47 seconds left to go in the third period.
The touchdown roused the Viking defense. For the first time in the game, Stabler lost yardage.
Big run, Barry back at the 27-yard line by Alan Page. The first quarterback sack of the afternoon for the Purple Gang.
A Super Bowl victory for the Oakland Raiders. A victory won not only for this season, but for seasons past.